Hey, welcome back to Alien RestoMod. Got some goodies in today. Tanks ink. We'll open that up in a second, but we got over here is the fuel pump assembly unit and the fuel sending. It's like wrapped up like from the butcher or something like that. Anyways, I had the straps for the tank, made in Taiwan, of course, and I got these just so that it's a cushion between the straps and the tank. But wow, they came in. That was cool. I am still waiting for other parts, but cool. I can get started on planning this out. All right, already unpackaged. Wow, this looks, the finish on this is really nice. It's like powder coated or something, I'm hoping. Yeah. Nice. I mean, real nice. Look inside, you see that baffle that they're talking about. Yep. Just really impressed by the construction, I guess. I don't know. Here's a little rib bag that came with it. It just has your corkboard gaskets, I call them, bolt or screws, and your vent tube for the end of the vent tube. This is your connectors for those vent tubes. Made in Canada. There's a maple leaf, or made by hockey people. I don't know. Anyways. That's all I got for unveiling. I'm still waiting on other parts, and I had to get smart, I'll say, or knowledgeable on the wiring afterwards. I mean, this doesn't come with any wiring, but you need to follow the instructions and about the grounds and power and stuff for hooking up your sending unit and your pump. So, just got this in. It's the fuel regulator. It actually comes with AN-6 connectors, which is cool. It's for the either end. Also got my other connectors in. These are from Summit, and then I got this one from Russell. I'm waiting on two more. Then I can start putting stuff together. I still haven't figured out the electrical wiring, so let me tell you what I'm going to do. Oh wait, just a minute. All right, forgive my crude drawing. Okay, well, here's the setup. Here's the tank. This is the baffle area. I just made this, it's concaved. So this is the baffle area where you have your sending unit and your loading device. And then you have your pressure regulator, line going down, fuel rail. So what my plan is, vent tube from the tank, vent tube from the sending unit, go to the tri-prong connector, and then go all the way around, and it's going to go out toward the back above the filler neck as it's recommended in the instructions. And that's just going to be a rubber hose. Nothing special. Couple clamps going up here, clamped on the end device for the filler neck. The vent tube, and then go from there. Now the sending unit is going to have hard line coming out of here and here, and we're going to, if you're looking at it from the front of the vehicle to the right, I've seen a lot of guys go to the left on sending up the fuel line, but then they have to cross over the engine and go to the other side because the fuel rail has the connector on the driver's side. So I'm going to go down here. Hard line going to go down, is going down, and it'll connect. Hard line going down, connect. Hard line going out, connect. And then I have AN-6 connectors on either side, also up here. Hard line going out, going to run along just right next to the brake lines, and then come up to a certain point before the firewall or just right below it. I don't know, but it's going to do an AN-6 connector from your hard line to a braided line. Now, one of the reasons I'm using a braided line because at this point, there's a lot of movement, I guess, in the engine bay. You're driving around, you don't want a hard line going up. I guess you want something that's flexible. So that's why I'm using braided line. Just a 3-foot piece of braided line. Gonna slink it through and go up and do an AN-6 connector to the fuel rail. And that's the plan. Okay, you heard the plan, and hopefully it goes as planned. But right now I'm going to focus on fuel pump sending unit and getting that set up and installed right now. And then we'll move on to something else. Okay, I kind of started with that. Yeah, let me show you what I did so far. First off, they want you to measure the depth of your tank. And this is for a Chevy Camaro. So it is 6 1/8. I don't know if that's focusing right there. 6 1/8. Okay, here's the math on this. So we got the depth of the tanks is 6 1/8. The sending unit, the formula for that is depth of the tank minus pump and sock. And then the return line is depth of the tank minus 1 inch. So we go over here to the schematic. You got over here on the left, the depth is 6 1/8. The D minus 1 is 5 1/8. Supply line is D minus P, which is 1 3/4, and pump and sock is 4 3/8. So 6 1/8 minus 4 3/8 equals 1 3/4. That's measuring from the underside where it connects to the bottom down there, to the bottom of the tank. But you have to, it doesn't, I don't know if I didn't read all the way through it. I didn't read all the way through it, but it doesn't say there to compensate for the gasket, which is 1/8 of an inch, which is this cork gasket. So I am going to compensate for that because as soon as we put it on there, we're going to tighten it down. You're going to have that 1/8 of an inch. So it's because I want it to sit on the bottom of the tank. Okay, what I did is I went ahead and put the sock on the pump. And remember, this point to this point is 6 1/8. So with the pump and the sock, measured out 4 3/8. And then from the top to this point, it's 1 3/4. But we need to add 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't tell you to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. But I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch for the gasket to my cut on this. So it's actually not going to be right here. It'll be right about here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Hey, real quick before we do anything, I'm going to go ahead and read you this real quick. Or actually, I'm just going to tell you. I went ahead and cut the length I needed, which was 1 7/8, because I added that 1/8 of an inch to the overall length for the gasket. Before you put the fuel pump on, you need to put this clamp on. Forget to put that clamp on, otherwise you'll just be hating life. But what we're going to do now is we're going to use a heat gun to heat this up, make it soft, and then push this end on right here. Now, if you have there's a couple types you have. You have the GPA2, GPA4, or the GPA6. This is a GPA4. It states on there if you have a GPA2, 4, or GPA TBI, do not remove the white nylon sleeve on the pump outlet. So don't remove that. It's supposed to stay on there. If you have the GPA6, I guess follow those instructions. All right, that went on pretty good. Just make sure you, when you're putting the pump on, you slide it on in a forward motion, not turning it, because I might screw it up. But anyways, tighten it all the way down. Just rotate the pump around so it's nestled right next to the return line. And next thing you do is we're gonna go ahead and measure this off the return line and cut it at a 45-degree angle at the bottom of the pump. Okay, right there, I just cut it at a 45-degree angle, so the tip is right there at the bottom of the pump. Just like the picture. Sort of. But you need to put the, was that a cozy? Insulation foam around the pump, and then you can zip tie it. But you can go ahead and, if you have to adjust the pump for any reason, before you zip tie it, measure it in the tank. All right, I went ahead and measured in the tank, and I'm pretty close to the bottom. Even with measuring it and everything, I'm sitting above the bottom, just a hair above the bottom, and I still haven't put the the gasket on, so it's asking you to sit above the bottom, probably about 1/8 of an inch. But well, I'm not going to change anything, so. But there it is with the zip ties on. I'm going to clip those off. The electrical is going to snap in right there, and then you're going to feed the positive and negative wires through those little 2 holes right there. And it's just going to come up to the top, and then you tighten those down. Okay, now we can call this unit complete. Just a note, I would put this on before you slide it on and tighten it down. It was kind of, if you get it too high for some reason, if your tank is high and you haven't had this clicked on yet, you might not be able to get it in between this point right here. So, okay, we're at the sending unit, and it's saying if for tanks 6 inches to 5.5 inches in depth, it will be necessary to remove the lower bracket. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove, there's 2 brackets, and we got to take off this, as you can see, this lower bracket. All right, this is what I just did. Like I said, if the depth is 6 inches to 15.5 inches for a tank depth, you need to remove the lower bracket. So I removed the lower bracket. I went over to the tank, and I measured the depth of the tank overall, 6 3/8, where the float sending unit is. So it's a little different from the baffle. But 6 3/8, so they want half the depth, so that's 6 3/16. Add 1/8 of an inch for the gasket, and you get 3 5/16. Right there, that should be spot on right there. So 3 5/16 is the center of this nut, bolt, screw. So now, supposed to take the float, slide it through here, tighten it down, make sure the distance between the top of the float and the top of the mounting plate is 1/8 of an inch. Then we can mark and cut it. All right, there it is, all cut off, that little portion right there. Then that's exactly how it's supposed to work. Now, that looks much better. It looks so small, but anyways, follow the instructions, and everything will work out fine. All right, don't forget to put your gasket on before you put your sending unit in, and make sure your float is still able to go back and forth pretty freely. Also, the float doesn't get interfered with the baffle or the side over here. So the baffle's over here and here. So it has to be around this area. For your pump, make sure the filter is pointing in the direction alongside, is pointing in the direction where it's open. Because you gotta remember the baffle cuts this up right here and then you got this wall. So you want it over in this direction. And that's what I got. Fuel pump and the sending unit. And tighten everything down to specs, and those are, torque specs are 1/2 foot-pound. Now we got to work on the wiring. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Okay, I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this pigtail, I'm going to connect it to both these sides and have it hanging off. I'll make it all look nice and neat, and just have it sitting here waiting for when I do connect the wiring, it's ready just to plug and play basically. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So what I'm using is something I got from O'Reilly's. It was just a, 4-wire pigtail male female set. That's all I needed. It's 14 gauge wire. I figure that's good enough for positive or your hot wire. So we're going to go ahead and set these up so we can plug everything in. The only bad thing is all I got is for 14 gauge is green wire. Oh well. So the positive and negative coming off the sending unit is going to be green until it hooks into the pigtail. Then it'll be black and red. So it'll be all right. It'll work out. All right, there the wiring's done, in my mind. All I'll have is this, the wiring underneath the fuel lines going out, stuck over here in a pigtail, or not a pigtail, but wrapped up nice and neat and complete. Then I can just plug it in when I'm ready. work out. So, well, that's it for now. I'm going to call this part 1 of the installation of the tank and setup, because I need some more parts for the fuel lines, and well, it's just seems like a good stopping point, eh? Anyways, if you have any comments, questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and we'll get to them as soon as I can. All right, thanks again for watching Alien RestoMod, and I'll see you later.